Joining me now, she is the Northeast Ohio Regional Director with OSA, the Ohio Student Association, which can be found at ohiostudentassociation.org. Malaya Davis. Malaya, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for joining us. I mean, should be said right before we go into the interview is that you are about about less than 25 minutes away from getting the meeting that you and your activists have been demanding from the police chief of Beaver Creek in Ohio.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So let's get right to it. You've been occupying the Beaver Creek, Ohio police station for how many days now?
This is our third day.
Third day, great. And how many people have been occupying the police station?
We've had at least 25 people have a presence at the police station at a time, and so, you know, which is a pretty large number for Beaver Creek, Ohio, and it's pretty big given the space that we are allotted.
And let's go back even further a bit. We've been talking about what happened to John Crawford, the unarmed young black man who was shot and killed by Beaver Creek police in Walmart for ostensibly holding a product that the Walmart sells, the BB gun. And this happened because apparently there was an individual who called the police and told them there was a man holding a gun inside Walmart threatening people, and police showed up and shot John Crawford, and then only afterwards did they discover he was holding what is essentially not a lethal weapon whatsoever. So what sparked your interest in this case?
Well, Ohio Student Association is a statewide network of young organizers in Ohio. And so we have folks that are part of OSA from Beaver Creek and that attend Wright State University, which is around the corner from the Walmart where John was killed. I also attended Wright State University. And so that is a portion of what really brought me to this case. I felt a responsibility to respond to what happened, being that, you know, I went to the school around the corner and I shopped at that Walmart frequently. Mm-hmm. You know, my classmates shopped at that Walmart, and, you know, being that I am a young black woman, I can be racially profiled, I can be criminalized, which is what often happens to black bodies in this country. And I couldn't have been deemed suspicious for anything that I could have done. And so just thinking that, you know, myself and my classmates, my peers, my friends, that all frequent this Walmart, we could have been John Crawford. And so, like I said, I felt responsible to respond to this and to hold someone accountable for taking this young man's life.
I mean, we've been seeing what's been happening in Ferguson with the protests in response to the killing of Michael Brown. So is there? I mean, usually this is the case, but is there a historic tension between police and the black community in Beaver Creek, Ohio?
Well, Beaver Creek, Ohio is a majority white suburb of Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
And so, yeah, the community to law enforcement relations in Beaver Creek are typically pretty good.
Mm. So when you decided to occupy you and the Ohio Students Association decided to occupy the Beaver Creek Police office, what was the plan for that? Why occupy the police station?
Well, we've been organizing around the Justice for John Crawford movement from the beginning, ever since we, you know, found out about what happened. Like I said, we have people who are from the area who, you know, have some real skin in the game for this case. So yeah, we hosted vigils in the beginning of August. Like I said, right around the time he was killed. We led silent marches to the Beaver Creek police station to hand deliver letters for them to release the surveillance tape. If not to the public, at least to the parents of John Crawford. Mm. We got that demand the day after we asked for it. And our Attorney General, Mike DeWine, he summons a grand jury to meet September 22nd through the 24th, and we organized folks to come down to Greene County and partake on an 11-mile pilgrimage from the Walmart where John was killed to the Greene County courthouse. And so once we found out about the verdict not to indict Officer Sean Williams, which was the officer who killed John, we decided that it was time to, escalate the situation and really show the power that we have as a statewide network, and it just as concerned young people from across the state. And so, at that moment, we knew that next step was some type of nonviolent direct action, and we thought a lock-in at the police department would be, the most strategic thing to do at that point.
And you have a list of 3 demands that you'll be presenting to the police chief when you meet with him in about 20 minutes. So what are those 3 demands?
Yeah, so the 3 demands we're redirecting them as questions so that he can give us, clear yes or no responses. And so those demands that we are turning into question is what will happen to Officer Sean Williams? What will happen to the 911 caller, Ronald Ritchie? And do you agree that the training material that was issued by our state's Attorney General, Mike DeWine, that is being used in this case needs to be overhauled? And so those are the 3 demands that we are going to be asking in question form. And we hope that the outcome of this meeting is, in both of our favors.
And after this meeting with the police chief, what is the next step for justice for John Crawford? What do you feel the Ohio Student Association's next steps will be?
So, well, after this meeting, we'll determine, whether we, decide to stay here longer, whether we decide to leave. But for sure, we know that we're going to be having a mass mobilization on the 18th of October in Columbus, Ohio. And the purpose of this event is really to take this conversation to a broader scale. Our meta-narrative is that we want to fundamentally shift the relationship and power dynamics between law enforcement and community. And we know that, police brutality in the Black community and on, Black bodies is a systemic issue that needs national attention. It's not just about John Crawford and Beaver Creek or, Mike Brown and Ferguson, but it's an issue that happens all over our state. And how do we begin to really talk about it in that way and build a movement from there? Also, on the 25th of October, we're asking people around the state of Ohio to vote early on the same day together. Because the reason why we want this to happen is we want, like I said, we want to shift that relationship between law enforcement and community. And the reason we say law enforcement because that can range from the police officer, the county sheriff, or the county prosecutor. And some of those, positions are elected by citizens. And so we want, our elected officials to know that we are not going to stand by, any longer and twiddle our thumbs and let you decide things for us. And we're voting so that we don't have to ask you questions about, are you going to fire someone who, unlawfully killed someone and there's no consequences for it,
Absolutely. Yes. So, what has been the, because you had mentioned previously that Beaver Creek is a suburb of Dayton, and Beaver Creek usually, as a predominantly white community, has a good rapport with the police precinct and the police officers. So what has been the response from the community to the actions demanding justice and accountability for the death of John Crawford?
We've actually gotten overwhelmingly positive response from a lot of Beaver Creek residents. We've gotten tons of, food and donations, so much food that we actually had to give it away to the people who were coming to stay with us. But it's just been, awesome to know that we have the blessing of the residents here and that we have their support. And, for the residents of Beaver Creek who don't agree with what we're doing, we haven't heard and or seen from them. So, you know, we really don't want to focus our attention too much that way.
Malaya Davis, it's great work what you've been doing. The lock-in at the police station is genius because, I mean, what can they do? I mean, either way, you're getting the press to justice for John Crawford, regardless of whether, I mean, because I assume you thought that there could be a chance that on that first day when you didn't leave, they might have arrested you. Am I correct?
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, either way, it's a win for you guys because you guys are getting that attention to this issue. I think in the mainstream news coverage, what happened to John Crawford was disgustingly undercovered, and I think the least we can do for this, what happened to this poor man, is get him justice and make sure this never happens again and hold the people responsible, who I think in this case are the police officers involved with this shooting, like you said, the officer Sean Williams, who is directly responsible. But I also feel like there should be some sort of accountability for the 911 caller. What was his name again?
Ronald Ritchie.
Ronald Ritchie, yes. Because, I mean, even though he's not the one who pulled the trigger, he reported what he was seeing in a way that made the police believe they were entering a dangerous, life-threatening situation, which is a false police report in my mind. And I'm glad that you guys added that to this issue, because it's something that I feel like many people, when they're discussing this case, they just bring up, oh, Sean Williams wasn't indicted for the Williams shooting on September 24th, and that's the end of that. Nothing we can do. I still feel like there's things that can be done, and you guys are directly making sure that those issues are still out there, and I can't thank you enough for the great work you're doing. Good luck with your meeting with the police chief in about 10 minutes now, and I hope he gives you some answers, and I think you guys are certainly changing minds, even if you don't get what you want out of him. You've certainly done so with the broad public.
Thank you so much.